Welcome to J Lowe Artist. This is an educational channel and it's designed to help you understand the fundamentals of art, especially of drawing. We've been using color, and so we're just using regular Crayola Colored Pencils. Those are colored pencils that you can get just about anywhere in the world. So come and draw with me. It's a lot of fun, and hopefully along the way it'll make your life a little better, because I think art makes life better. First of all, let's concentrate on what's important. Composition. How you compose it, how you put your picture in there. Now remember, oftentimes we draw things the size we see them. So if you're sitting in the back of the room, you want to draw it itty bitty. But a little itty bitty turtle down there is not good composition. It's not going to look good. So you want to force yourself to draw large. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, well, I want his head. I want a little bit of space here, maybe a quarter of my page come down here. I want his head to be about right in there. And then that little fin is almost going to touch the edge over here, so I want to maybe put a little line over there to say that's about where I want it to touch over there, which means his back fin is going to be a little even closer than that, somewhere in there. His little tail is going to be down in here somewhere. So now that gives me the size I need. Maybe his little head's going to be up there a little bit further. So then I can kind of figure to myself, well, his shell would be here, would kind of come up over here, maybe down here, maybe over here. And now you can say, well, that's the size I need to make it. So there's your shape right there. Give or take, you know. Now you've got it as big as you need to have it. There's his tail. His little fin is just this kind of circular shape. Kind of comes off here like this. This little fin is going to come out, come over and almost touch over there. Might have that just a little bit big. Remember, when you're drawing, to draw it right and then change it. Don't erase it first. And if you're slightly off, then no big problem. His head kind of comes out, touches up in there. This fin is almost going to, fin, foot, whatever it is, almost going to touch over there. Almost come out and touch. Oh, that's not a tail. That's his other foot back in there. That's his other foot. Now that you've got your size, refine it a little bit. This is going to be a lot more complex than you think it is. A lot of this we're going to do with our colored pencil, so just get the proportions in, get it the size you want it, get it where you want it. Composition is important. If you wanted to put yourself some guidelines in there, you could. Like, here's the middle of his shell. It would come up here like this. And you could, if you wanted to, throw in some of those little guidelines to tell you where the patterns are. These are just guidelines just to help me figure out where those patterns are going. Are you guys drawing with the side of your pencil still? You haven't gone back to your old habits? Those nasty habits that make you draw slowly? It doesn't really matter how many little sections you have. Nobody's going to count unless you want to count. And if you do, you can put yourself in some guidelines there. One, two. And maybe I'll put in a little section where his eye goes somewhere almost the top of his head, right in there. That's his eye. I gave you a promise that when you drew with ink, you'd never draw the same way. When we're drawing here, we want to be thinking ink. Remember, there's a lot that you can leave out. You only want to put in the very darkest areas. The background is defining our thing here, but we're not going to work on the background yet. That's probably one of the last things we do, because we can scribble that in. Even if it's fuzzy in the background, that's okay, because nobody cares about the background. So we want to limit ourselves to colors. You basically got 24 colors here. What colors would you use? Now, remember, we're doing a piece of artwork, not a photograph. So basically, the colors we use, you can use anything you want. So let's start out with the darkest colors. What are your darkest colors? You might have a little bit of black in there, so I'm going to choose black, but that is only a little bit. The other colors I see, it'd probably be a purple or a blue. What else would you like to use? Probably a yellow, that's our lightest color. And maybe an orange or a red, or both. There's a red. What about purple? Do you see purple in there? I'd probably go with purple or magenta. Magenta is kind of a reddish purpley color, red violet. I don't see a whole lot of blue in there, but if I did, it would be a very light blue. Probably pretty good. 2, 4, 6, 7. We could use one more color. Maybe red. I've got that other red in there, but it's kind of an orangey red. Maybe I'll switch out. Maybe I'll do the red and then an orange. Just red and orange. I'll put that red orange back in there. Then I just put the other colors off to the side. One reason why you want to limit yourself in your palette is so that you don't spend time trying to decide what color was it that I used. So I'm going to take all those colors, and the first color I'm going to choose is probably blue. I'm going to do a lot of preliminary colors with blue, because what do you get if you mix blue with orange? Right, they cancel each other out, and so they become kind of a brown. But I'm going to use that to my advantage here, because there is some of that brown in there. Whatever color you layer on last becomes the dominant color. So if I layer in some yellow, that might be one of the first ones I do, but I want to establish where everything goes so I can get rid of this graphite. Remember, you got to get rid of that graphite. So I'm going to go in with my blue here, and I'm just going to start out. Think of this blue like ink. And if you were to draw this little turtle with ink, where would you start? What would you do? Remember, you want to get rid of edges. You don't want to have edges in. You want to just do dots and dashes. So I'd probably start with his eye because it's pretty dark. And then anywhere that you see little shapes, just use your dots and dashes, little lines, cross-hatching, whatever it takes to get that. Don't draw a line around things, okay? Some of you are still doing that. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to use my pencil to get those little dark shapes, those little dark edges. And if there is an edge of my turtle that is really light, I'm just going to leave it out. When in doubt, leave it out. I'm just looking at those shapes, leaving out whatever I need to. And you don't have to put it all in there. You just put part of it in there. And if those little shapes aren't exactly in the right place, that's okay. Nobody's going to have this turtle reference to look at and compare. What's going to happen is I'm going to take my kneaded eraser, I'm going to go over that colored pencil, and it's going to take out my graphite and leave my colored pencil behind. Yes, some of the colored pencil does come through, but most of it stays there. So now my graphite's gone, my colored pencil's there. That's my guide, and that's going to help me to figure out where everything goes. So I'm going to continue to do that throughout the whole turtle. Just look at the shapes of the darks and lights. Don't try to draw lines. Leave the lines out. The edges, I should say. Let them just take care of themselves. I'm not trying to be exact to where these little spots go. I'm just using my reference as that. It's a reference. Look at the patterns. So this is going to take a while. I'm going to be quiet here for a minute and just go as fast as I can to get these little spots in there. I just want the pattern. Just want it to look about right. Almost ready to get rid of that graphite. Now I want to get rid of all my graphite as much as I can. And I'm left with this kind of ghost image. No lines around it. Remember, those edges will just take care of themselves. Now I'm free to use any color that I want, but I remember I need to get my values correct, because without those values it becomes just a jumble of colors, no form, no depth. His head's a little small. I've got to make it just a little bit bigger. This is another reason why you don't want to put lines around things, because I'd never be able to do that. Now I can make it just a little bit bigger. Ah, that's better. What color would you add? Well, I'm going to add yellow because I see a whole bunch of yellow. And over the top of the yellow, if I put purple, it'll make it kind of brown. If I put red, it'll come out orange, even blue. So I'm just going to go over some of those little areas with the yellow. I can go over the blue. What's going to happen if it turns green? You going to be okay with it if it turns green? No problem. Because if I go over some of those spots with red and there's a little green in there, what's going to happen? It's going to turn brown. Red and green make a good brown. So you don't have to go everywhere either. You can pick and choose where you're going to put that color. It's just according to where I feel like that yellow needs to go. From here on out, basically, you've got your form, you've got your compositions. Now you just need to scribble in your color. Next, I'm going to do orange. And what's going to happen over the blue? It's going to turn kind of gray or brown. That's okay. The little eye is pretty dark. I'm going to take some black and then I'll put some blue on top of that. A little bit of black in there just to make that pop, just to give it that deep richness that you need. Just a little bit. I can put that in all over there too. I think I'm going to start with that purple. I want to get his head done. That's important. So the last color I'm going to layer into there is probably going to be this purple. I'm going to really press down hard enough to blend all those other colors. Orange, black, a little bit of that yellow. I really want some purple over the top of that black because I don't like that black by itself. Purple makes it look very gray because of that yellow. So I'm going to take red. Ooh, maybe not red. Maybe magenta. I'll take this magenta. See what happens. Over the top of the purple, over the top of the yellow and orange. It should give it kind of a nice red tone. Like I say, you're really never sure quite what you're going to get. And that's okay. As long as your values are correct, your colors won't matter. And that just makes it pop. I haven't really added any black to this. Suppose we could a little bit here and there, but be careful with that black. It's just not as this a little overpowering. When you get to that point and you think, well, I need a little bit of blue in the background, use that sky blue and just, you can do little shapes in the background. Like you can pick up just the side of your pencil and you just kind of go through and you just pick up some of those little shapes. You don't need a lot. Just use the side of your pencil. That's probably enough, really. I don't know if you'd need any more than that. But when you're done, if you've got time and you can go through and do a little bit more, you could do that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but his little shell or these little fan shapes. Just throw those little fan shapes in as fast as you can. One of the last things I'm going to do is I'm going to take that aqua blue. I haven't used any of that yet, but I'm just, with the side of my pencil, just going to go over all that stuff I did in the background. I'm going to try to keep it off the turtle, and you just kind of fuzzily put it in the background. Over the blue, over everything. That'll give it that nice background. Good place for your signature. I'm going to put mine right here. Good place for it. Hopefully you enjoyed this, though, and hopefully you learned a little bit about color that maybe you didn't know in the past, and had a little bit more experience with drawing forms with color. And just remind you that art makes life better. Hope you have a lovely day.